um, kind of this speed to lead thing. Like, so right now it's just like LSA, you got to respond really fast. So the speed to lead thing gets so extreme, like, because everybody's doing it. Google's forcing it, but it's just your competition's going to force it. So it gets so extreme that if you actually, as a company, want to talk to the client, we've kind of talked about this just slightly before, but if you actually want to take them to the phone and talk to them, you have a very high risk of losing the deal. Like, what do you think that could be where we're going in 5 years? That it's everybody is moving so fast with software, pricing online, pricing through text, pricing through email, Google collecting prices, and everybody's now enabled with technology to respond really quick, that if you even try to take them to the phone, you're probably going to kill the deal. Do you think that becomes a reality?
I think you're overly optimistic at the tech forwardness of our home service industry.
You do. Okay.
Like I think in our world, and even people listening, it will feel that way. But when you look at the broad home service industry and like how many people use any software, let alone like, I'm struggling to get people to get Google reviews or like claim their Google business profile. I'm not super concerned about them automating away these things because they're just so far behind. And like, you look at how long credit cards have been around, and still to this day, 53% of payments processed through Homeworks is check.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe I've become a bit disconnected.
And so I would love for that to be the truth. I think it would improve the professionalism of the industry. So I'd be a fan. I just do not see the adoption broadly. I think the top 10%, and yes, they will make more money. But like broad adoption, what do you think?
I think there's a risk of that. but now you've got me questioning myself here.
Like, if you're talking to $10 and $15 million owners, yes, like that's
I
where
do live in this is where it's like, you know what? I've been out of SA for 7 years. I know a ton of people own big companies. My Academy group, all those guys have got bigger companies now. Like, just like that, I still keep up with. I'm in tech, or I was in tech, but my brain is still living in tech. You're right. I mean, I think I haven't really worked with a lot of the smaller companies in quite some time, and it's an interesting perspective.
Jonathan, I'm trying to paint you as not out of touch here. And here,
I'm trying to get back.
Someone texted me the other day that said, "We really got to know how Jonathan spent $450,000 on longevity." I'm like, that is a topic for another day.
Yeah, I'll do a video on that. And it's not going to be as crazy. Well, it will be it's not going to be as crazy as people might think. You can spend it pretty fast. So, yeah, that does sound, but
don't worry.
It's not quite as crazy as you think. Yeah. I don't know. What exactly you're seeing happening with me right now is exactly my argument against AI blowing up the whole world. Technology people that live in technology and see where it's going, which is who I think I am to a degree. I'm not as close to it as I used to be. See what's happening and think it's going to happen really fast, but the human adoption and the government puts the brakes on it in a massive way. And so I do agree with everything that you're saying.
But hey, your newsfeed is filled with AI, tech, private equity. Most people, they're scrolling through TikTok for cat videos. I don't think they're adopting some of this stuff anytime soon. They're just happy that the next video is a cat video after their first one because of AI.
You're right. I think I would, outside these questions, my general argument would actually be that I don't think most people will adopt it, because my concern for those people is more severe than it's ever been.
I agree with that.
They're going to get really badly hurt.
I agree.
So I've done a video on that in 5 for 50 recently. I'm legitimately concerned.
I think it's like the K-shape, what we see in the economy with K-shape is going to happen in home services.
Yeah, and so I guess if I have that concern, I do have an underlying belief that we are starting to see a change in technology where some of this stuff is legitimately going to go faster. One of my reasons why I argue that I'm not arguing that robotic mowers are finally going to really happen. I'm not arguing that all this stuff is, I'm not arguing that glasses are going to be here in 5 years. My answer to that was I think we're going to be way closer, but we're not going to be there. But I do think something has fundamentally changed. And it used to be like, go back 7 years, 6 years to 19 to 20, there were not this many people working on really big problems. Like they were working, the people would go, they were working on finance and finance arbitrage. But now there are lots of people working on new technologies. Like the amount of brain power working on AI, the amount of brain power working on robotics, the amount of brain power working on life science, the amount of kids coming out of school and going into that stuff has just skyrocketed in the last 6 or 7 years. You can't convince me that doesn't mean everything goes way faster now. So then my argument why I was wrong on robots when I thought it was going to happen faster was because I missed the fact that not many people were actually working on it. You would look at, like, say, cars, and you would think about how many people are working in that, and you would say, well, gosh, if we can make a car do this, even if it's not fully autonomous, how can we not make a mower do this? Well, the reason was there wasn't enough money going into robots and there weren't enough people working on it. Now we got so many people working on this stuff. That's where I think I'm starting to say, wait a second, some of my timelines I'd put 10 years out, could they pull in a little bit? That's where I think I'm coming from a little on this, but I still think I'm highly at risk of being overly optimistic.
Yeah, like, it's funny, like over the past couple of years, as it's been in the back of my mind, like, oh man, this is like so important. We've got to stay on the cutting edge. Every time it gets really hard around it though, like actually making the APIs talk to each other, doing encryption, getting financial data transmitted, doing attribution, figuring out if a lead came from Facebook or Google. Like every time it gets hard, I'm like, okay, this is why 95% won't do it. And so that's always been my motivation when I feel like this is a hard spot, this is a technical challenge. Like, why am I beating my head up against this tiny little pixel or this tiny little, it's like, this is where everyone's gonna stop, because conceptually it'll sound so easy, and they'll listen to this podcast, be like, oh, it's gonna AI, and then they'll hit this thing, and then there'll be friction. And I just believe that 95% won't go past that right now.
Yeah.
And I feel, to your point, I feel obligated to make sure that they're aware and that they have the tools, et cetera. But there's a certain level that you have to apply yourself to actually pushing through that hard spot and figuring things out. And maybe one day it'll all be easy with AI, but I find that every time, if you're like on the edge of the technology, you are going to have to push through what most people would just be like, okay, it's hard here. So.
Yeah. When we do these episodes and we think about the docket, I always want to make sure that it's interesting to people. And I know a lot of people listen that are smaller, or they're not ready for this stuff. And so I picture a lot of people riding on a lawnmower, a lot of people driving in their truck, and then a lot of bigger companies hopefully listen as well. And so what I hope to gain for a lot of people is just this real awareness where you're hearing this thing over and over again, and maybe it makes you move a little faster, implement some of this a little faster. You don't need to be cutting edge. And think a little bigger, or as your business gets bigger, you've kind of already heard this conversation from us a few times, and it's not foreign, it's not scary. It's like, oh, I kind of have an idea what to do here. That's what I hope people get from this. And that's why, while we're having bigger conversations than maybe most people are ready for, I hope they see the value in that. It grows your mindset too. I think it makes you more optimistic, like, wow, this is what I could do. This is what I could become. Like, I like that kind of framing.
And not being afraid by the terminology too. Like, even like, as we're planning this whole rollout with Homeworks, it's like, I don't want the words MCP to get people messed up. I need them to understand, like, just go to Claude, do these 3 things, ask it this question, be blown away, and understand that's just the tip of the iceberg. And not being afraid, like AI, a lot of the news, okay, should I use Claude? Should I use ChatGPT? Like, don't be afraid by that stuff. A lot of it is the high-fluting, tooting people that stand behind microphones and talk all day long use these big words to appear like they're somehow above all of us, or like they know something, they're super smart. And it's not difficult, but it will take you being okay with being uncomfortable in a world that you might not feel as organic to as on a mower or with a belt of tools on your tool belt. And I think that the people that embrace that feeling of, hey, this does not feel does not feel natural to me, but can push through that, they're going to win.
Yep.
If you've built a $1 million home service business, but you're struggling to get to the next level at $10 million in annual revenue, I've created a private community just for you. It's called Home Service Boardroom. What got you to $1 million is all the work, the hustle, the grind, figuring out your leads, your website. But what gets you from $1 million to $10 million is learning the skill of leadership, finding other great talent and managers to work for you. If that's of interest, go check out mikegandy.com/school or see the link in the description.